Welcome back to a new devlog. My name is Miguel and I'm building a dwarven pixelart RPG where you mine precious ores and forge deep under the mountain. I came to a terrible realization. My inventory system has been quietly sabotaging my entire game, and I only realized it when everything started breaking. The first line of code for the system has been written back in 2020, and the original version made a lot of sense. Heavily inspired by Minecraft and WoW, there's an item bar where you can drag items into. Then, with num keys or mouse wheel scroll, you can swap between the items. My original idea was to have back items you can find and equip, giving you more inventory space. This works quite well in WoW, so why shouldn't it for me? Oh well. During playtesting, it turned out people would start storing items in the world once their inventory was full. Also, smelting ore into ingots kinda sucked. It will always smelt the currently active item in your inventory bar. So, you just came back from a successful mining trip, ready to smelt all those sweet ores into ingots. Your mighty iron pickaxe with extra power is your sturdy companion. Okay, let's start smelting. Oh, wait, what happened? You see, instead of playing the game, players have to constantly deal with inventory management, being careful the correct item is selected at all times, and this is not fun. This frustrated me. Then I played some games. One of the greatest RPGs just released this year. Come Deliverance 2. For anyone who likes The Witcher 3 and other medieval RPGs, you must play this. I won't be going into a full game review here, but I just want to focus on the inventory management itself. I will obviously borrow some nice ideas later. Their forging system is amazing and very inspiring, but that's not what I want to talk about today. KCD2's inventory system has a list of items. Each, when selected, shows some stats and info. There are tabs of items, so you can quickly navigate to the exact item I want. Also, you can see some icons on there, like is equipped icon for example. Another great UX feature that I liked while playing with controller, KCD2 has the concept of one press versus long press, to reuse the same buttons for different interactions. I really like that. Let's see if we can draw some more inspiration from other games. One of Nintendo's greatest hits, Zelda, The Breath of the Wild, is an engineering marvel. I'm still impressed how they managed to make it run so smoothly, even on handheld mode, without major sacrifice in visuals. Zelda's art direction is really strong. What also surprised me is how smooth everything feels. The UI is super snappy and responsive. I love that. Breath of the Wild's inventory system instantly hooked me. Like in KCD2, there are tabs, but it seems less cluttered and much cleaner. There is always a large preview of the item you are currently viewing. There is also pagination, so when the current page is full, you can simply scroll to the next page and so on. I think taking the strengths of both UIs can solve most of my problems. Before we start stealing some ideas, being heavily inspired here, another great game I wanted to highlight is Elden Ring. The inventory itself is okay, but I wanted to draw attention to the item selection. While you play the game, you can quickly swap weapons and flasks without having to constantly switch context and go to a separate menu. Elden Ring, and all former Souls titles really, solve this with an on-screen cross UI that shows the various equipment slots. Something like this would be perfect for my game. There could be a slot for pickaxes, for hammers and so on. With a single click, the player can swap the tools they want, but at the same time, the game would automatically know what to do. You walk to a rock? Let's use the pickaxe. You walk to an anvil? Let's use the hammer. You get the idea. Fueled up, I'm really ready now to get to work. Let's rebuild Cave's inventory system from the ground up. I started drawing up a rough sketch in Sprite. You have tabs on top with categories and pages per tab. Then per tab you can see the different slots. I also tried to picture how it might work to perform actions on selected items, although these are just concept ideas. On the right side you can see the details about an item, its stats, materials and so forth. Thanks to the Sprite Wizard add-on, I was able to easily export the various layers into Godot. From there, I assembled the UI and implemented the pagination mechanism. Standalone, this worked already great, but I haven't actually addressed a major issue yet. The old inventory system had limited backspace, while now, in theory, one can have infinite items. So, in order to accommodate this, I have to rewrite the existing inventory system. Once I implemented that, I set up the inventory UI to listen to various inventory events via signals. Now, when I pick up an item in the world, it will automatically show up in the inventory in the right place. For example, let's spawn 5000 iron ore into the world. Why not? As you can see, the inventory system is quite robust. Dealing with equipment is another challenge. Previously, equipment was its own inventory and I could move items between equipment slots and inventory slots. The reason for this was that inventory space was limited, so it would be a waste of space to keep those inventory slots occupied. Another difficulty comes with how one would interact with the world. Only a single equipment item could be active at any given time, and depending on which item is currently equipped, one could interact with different things. Now, I want to change this system by introducing dedicated slots for each type of equipment. The pickaxe slot will allow me to equip any pickaxe, the hammer slot allows me to equip any hammer, and so forth. This looks rather familiar, and I mentioned Elden Ring before. I call this the action belt, because with its visual aid you understand what is currently active. I made sure the action belt has some interactivity too, so you can swap the equipment belonging to the same category, for example. When using mouse, you can also hover the item to learn more about them. Lastly, I had to make the inventory interactable. I added menu actions to the bottom of the inventory that can change dynamically depending on the type of item you have. For example, I can read this letter and it opens up. Or I can drop an item by long pressing the drop button. Now, with the equipment and inventory fixed, it is finally time to play my game. Mining seems to work well. It correctly swaps the pickaxe and I'm able to gather precious ore. Let's go and smelt it. Oh no, this is bad. I noticed that I completely forgot something here. Interacting with the furnace will not work any longer and it is now broken. You see, previously one would walk up to a furnace, press the interact button and magically the currently selected ore would be smelted. Now with the item bar gone, there is nothing selected any longer. So the furnace does nothing.
Here we go. I hope you're hungry for nothing.
My first instinct was to design a new UI where one can select items to smelt. I spent days on trying to come up with a good UX, but it seemed all way too complicated. Then it dawned on me. I already built a UI, the inventory. Learning from games like KCD2, I could, instead of instantly picking an item when interacting, first open up the inventory so the player can choose what they want to smelt. I spent many hours rewriting the interaction system and I came up with something I'm quite happy with. After sharing a dev build on my Discord server, community members such as Magma gave some extremely useful feedback that I also incorporated. Let me show you how it now works. Once you mined enough coal and ore, you walk up to the furnace. The game detects that you have sufficient material and the prompt shows to interact to smelt. Now the inventory opens. As you can see, the game automatically jumped to the ore that can be smelted. You also notice that all other items that cannot be smelted are grayed out. This is an additional UX trick to make sure that it's very clear to the player what can be selected. Once the selection is made, the ore gets smelted into an ingot. Obviously, the same works also for molds. In a previous devlog, I presented the mold system, where you can insert different molds into the furnace to smelt either hammer or pickaxe blank for forging. When inserting a mold, the inventory now opens and it lets you pick a mold. You might have noticed a lot of other visual changes. I have been rather busy and completely revamped the title screen, added an immersive intro spoken by Rob Sharp, added infinite caves, advanced quests with Thalnor, scene transitions, including an actual house carved into the rock. There are too many changes to show in a single video, so I shall dive in some of them in future. Talking of the future, I'm already hard at work building the next interesting system that will enhance all other systems. Alloys. Basically, one can smelt different metals together to create new, interesting metals with special properties. For this, I can reuse the existing UI and don't even have to create many new assets. This and much more I will show in the next devlog. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more game dev stuff, Godot tutorials and dwarven devlogs. See you next time. May your forge burn bright.
Once these halls rang with the clash of steel, the laughter of kin, the pride of dwarven might. Now there's naught but shadows clinging to the stone like memories best left buried. Mind your step, adventurer, for this place has a hunger for souls, and many who wander here find themselves lost in its embrace.